All right, well, good morning. We're going to get started almost exactly on time, and I welcome you to the second day of the Cold Pressure Council Annual Conference. Appreciate coming in. We still have some pretty good programs that we're presenting today, starting with our last remote presenter who again tried to be with us in person but was unable to join. Then we're going to move to a very good discussion on sustainability, a short break, one breakout session today is it, and then we're going to come back together again, and we have Jeff Williams, the Cold Pressure Council Chair, to give a little update about the association in general. So if you remember, back when we were doing conferences live before the pandemic, you always talked about, am I taking anything away from it? So my three takeaways minimum from yesterday. Number one was Barb Stuckey and the word Lemna. I'm not sure that I'm going to be investing in Lemna right now, but I will be paying attention to what that represents, taking it off the top of the pond and all the good nutrition that's in there. The second one is retailers, which we all are aware of, and yet I thought it was important that two of the speakers in the afternoon session, Maurizio from Carpo Foods and Shabani from Little Gourmet, both mentioned about their outreach to retailers in order to become more effective in the solution sets that they were offering to their business. And the third one was the very good packaging panel we had, and that stay tuned. There are incremental and continual advances in materials that you'll be seeing and are going to become available for what we are doing here with the high pressure processing and on the material front. So today then we're going to kick it off. We're very pleased to have Tom Francois from Hermes Boissons over in France. Tom has a new solution set that he's been working with one of our other Cold Pressure Council members. He's going to talk a little bit about his business and about some of the advantages and approaches that they see in coming to the marketplace. So Tom, I will turn it over to you. Good morning. Well, good morning to us, good afternoon, good evening almost for you now, huh?
Yeah, good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. It's great to be here today. I don't know if you can see my screen. Okay, I turned off the camera on the right-hand side. And thanks very much, Tom. So yeah, good morning to you all. It's great to be here. I'm really delighted to be able to speak to you today. It's really a shame that I couldn't make it to Las Vegas. I hope the weather is fine and that you are enjoying a great conference. And so I'll try to make it to keep the level with all the panelists that you've talked about, Tom. And yeah, let's start with what we did at Hermes Boissons, and give you an overview of the changes we've made, coming from flash pasteurized bottler to a HPP bottler. So yeah, let's make it short. So as you read from this first slide, so we've become the first manufacturer to leverage hyperbaric 525 bulk system, which is a great technology. I'll start with I'll take you through a couple of information regarding the history of Hermes Boissons. The origin of Hermes Boissons dates back to the 1880, where we started as a dairy farm in the north of Paris. You can imagine a farm with basically cows and you know, pretty simple. So this company slightly but surely evolved into a larger dairy factory, and in 1984. We have been confronted with what we call a crisis with milk quotas in France and Europe, and we were forced to reinvent ourselves and decided to step into a new business, so using pasteurization on juice. So we became a bottler of pasteurized juice for quite some time, until 1995, where we became where we were acquired by the PepsiCo group and became the main bottler for Tropicana Europe for over 25 years. So I bought the company in 2018, The market of flash pasteurized juice is somehow declining in Europe. I guess it's the same in North America. And consumers were looking for, are actively looking for fresher products, and that's how we came to the conclusion that the bulk and HPP, I mean cold press, was the best solution for us. So 2018, I took over the company, and 2021 we had a new shareholder coming to the capital of the company, which is a large group specialized in the nutrition industry and health industry. So Hermes Boissons in a nutshell. So as you understand, so for a long time we've been specialized on pasteurized processes, and we've gained a long tradition of innovation and a strong know-how in the production and bottling of chilled juice for one of the most well-known brand in the world, actually. We had a very high level of automation and high performance equipment, and we became one of the leading manufacturers in juice in Europe for this specific brand. We also inherited from the group a very high level of qualification, certification, and food safety standards, and had a manufacturing capacity of around 90 million liters, and that can be raised to up to 120 million liters for flash pasteurizers. So we currently have 84 employees on site, I mean engineers, technicians, maintenance, and working in three shifts, and a total capacity of 800,000 liters chilled storage. So that's basically where we came from when I arrived. So we were a very lean production site, bottler for flash pasteurized juice with capacity in bag-in-box and carton. And we decided to make a big transformation. So our new strategy, again, was based on the strong demand for fresher products all across Europe. It's also based on the decreasing market of flash pasteurized juice, which are, if not stagnating, at least decreasing. Whether it's ambient or chilled, both markets are decreasing. And we've seen a market a demand for cold pressed juice, which has a growth of around 20%, not only in France but all across Europe. So we see a very strong trend and interest for this market, and we also realized that when we decided to make this move, the expectations were even lower than what we are confronted with right now. So if we take France as an example, so our country is really behind all the other countries in terms of penetration rate. Just to give you a small example, the market share of HPP in France is below 5%. And the market is structured with a lot of flash pasteurized juice, and totally different from what we have in the Netherlands, in the Nordics, or Germany, or you name it, other countries. So we think that this is due to the fact that there were no production capacity in France till now. We also realized that the production capacity that were existing were pretty low compared to the total market that can be that we aim for. And we also think that the existing capacities are not as scalable as Hermes Boissons. So all in all, this led us to the conclusion that basically to the execution of a 6 million euro capex to basically use the existing capacities and leverage them with the addition of the extraction parts for the fruit. So right now we've shifted from our business model in the sense that we now buy fresh fruits all year long. So wherever they are, depending on the season. So we've worked for almost 2 years on the sourcing of the products, and right now we have a good capacity all across Europe, and and the world. The other part was the addition of the hyperbaric bulk. So I'll dive into this technology later on, but this was crucial to the whole process because we wanted to use a new technology that helps us, or at least that prevents the degradation of the juice that we see with the pasteurization. And the other thing was the installation of a new PET line in order to be more agile and being able to reply to the whole market. I mean, being able to work for brands, for retailers with a private label, and for brands that we've created within our site. HPP, I think you all know what is HPP. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You've been all of you among the assistants have been pioneers in this technology, and you've shown the way to companies like ours. But in a nutshell, I think you know it. It's minimally processed, so we have a shelf life that's longer. So we can reach up to 90 days shelf life and even more, depending on the pH of the product. We are safer than raw juice. That's obvious with the 5-log reduction of microorganism, and we're not using any additives, preservatives, coloring, no aromas, no sugar added or whatsoever. So it's really a clean label process and very transparent for the consumer. So the key definition of HPP is that from the consumer point of view, we preserve all the natural freshness and all the qualities of the fruit. So that's a real game changer compared to pasteurization. Why hyperbaric in bulk? As I said before, so we had a strong capacity for flash pasteurized process that were highly automatized with a very linear process. And the idea for us was to be able to implement a technology that would, plug and play within our site. So that's what we've achieved with the hyperbaric. That's installed. You see the top picture. It's the 525 bulk. So I think it weighs around 137 tons. It's a big machine, but we've applied all our process in terms of CIP, SIP, and used it to leverage the existing capacities. The other thing is that we wanted to open the existing carton capacity with the HPP. So we became, with the bulk system, the bulk technology, sorry, the first player being able to provide HPP in carton. So that's another key thing. We are able to address the debate around PET, even though it's been quite it's evolved a lot during the past years with the recycled PET. The other thing is that we've reached a total cost of ownership that's almost equivalent to flash pasteurized. The reason why we've been able to achieve this is because we're using less energy with the HPP than with the pasteurization. And last one was again the perfect adaptation to our processing line in flow. So those are the key aspects that led us to choose this technology. The other aspect was the service that was provided by Hyperbaric, which was state of the art. I think we've spent more than 150 or 200 hours on the whole project, building the whole system, and we've reached something that's really that's really incredible. So the bottling capabilities. So I'm just repeating myself, but again, we have a capacity in carton, family pack, in single serve as well, and we also have a capacity in a bagging box and pouches. So those are formats that are more family pack oriented, and it's a big market actually in France and Europe. And we also have the PET solution. So right now we are 50% RPET, but we want to switch to 100% by the end of the year. So that's basically the capabilities. I hope this gave you a better understanding of what we do and what we've done. Maybe to wrap it up a little bit, I think we became this whole plan 3 years ago. There was some impacts related to the COVID, as I think everybody has been struck by this crisis. And right now we see a strong interest from retailers, whether it is private label or for brands in France and Europe. We see that consumers have really shifted in terms of product demand, and we have a very good perspective within the European market for all those products. So I'll be more than happy to answer any question you would have. Tom, if you want to have a quick Q&A, I'm more than happy to answer.
Good. Tom, thank you. We already have one of the attendees at the mic to ask a question.
Thank you. My name is Francois from University of Nebraska-Lincoln. It's really interesting about HPP. I'm just wondering, do you guys worry about post-treatment cross-contaminations? If you do, how do you tackle it?
Sorry, I think the line went dead, so I couldn't hear the question correctly.
Do you worry about post-treatment cross-contaminations because you HPP in a bulk and then you have to kind of open the package and then do the bottling? Do you cross-contaminations after treatments?
All right, it's a good question. So it's a very good question. So maybe I should have been clear on this aspect, that we on our site we are using bottling technology that are ultra clean technology. So it's quasi-aseptic conditions, meaning that once the juice is out of the bulk, it goes into an aseptic tank, and then it goes straight into the bottling capacity. So from before entering the HPP technology, everything's been sanitized, sterilized, and then the whole process is fully clean. So there is no risk of contamination. I don't know if that answers your question. I mean, if it was precise enough.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Other questions already? Right, Tom, I do have a couple. One of the items that I saw your slide had to do with the range of different packaging formats and sizes that you could offer. What are you seeing in the marketplace in terms of interest and acceptance? Larger, smaller, a whole range of it, an equal range? What is it that you're seeing in your marketplace now?
That's an interesting question. So there's been the past 2 years, there's been a shift from carton to PET in Europe. So that's the first thing. So I think the whole market, the juice markets, the switch was almost 50% carton, 50% PET. Right now, it's I think PET is close to 75% on the shelves. So that's one thing. The other aspect that we've seen is the decrease in terms of volumes. So everybody was selling 1 liter format, and we've lowered the format to 900 ml. And the other aspect is I think it's the beginning of it, but we see larger formats like 3, 5, 10 liters coming into the market. I'm not sure this is going to be a big trend, but it's basically consumers willing to I don't know the word in English, so I'm very sorry for this. I'll try to explain it in English, but consumers willing to come with their own bottles on shop and being able to to pour the juice into their own bottle. So that's how we provide bag-in-box to the market.
So the 10 liter, if I understand, for example, would be available at a retailer, but then the individual consumer would come and fill their own bottle?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's exactly it.
Okay, well, that's a little different format.
Yeah, so it's starting right now. We're looking at it with we're looking at it. We've been how do you say? A couple of retailers have been chasing us, trying to get more information, and we don't know if this is going to be a trend, but there's definitely a market for this, and we stay kind of opportunistic and try to wait and see, basically.
Good. And there's a bit of a learning curve with any new technology, and certainly with this being the initial installation for you. What is it that you did to help train your team to understand and to implement this new technology?
Yeah, that's. I think it's. I think you all know, coming from the HPP and the industry, that such a transformation at an industrial scale is a big it's a big challenge. So one of the biggest aspect was trying to help our team gaining knowledge on each and every technology, from extraction to HPP until PET. And there we've received a very strong support from Hyperbaric. I mean, we've worked hand in hand from the very beginning, and we're still working with them very close to each other. The whole system is monitored from Spain. Each cycle is under review by Hyperbaric, and they are very responsive. So yeah, I mean, you said it, like the training. Everybody is one of the biggest tasks. I mean, it's not only putting machines on site. And this has been performed with a great success with Hyperbaric. So, yeah.
And we've had some questions or had some comments from some of our other international speakers as it relates to their expectations for e-commerce in their own market. What are your expectations for doing direct to consumer or e-commerce type shipments on this new process?
Well, if we talk about the market and how it's structured in Europe, so we see that I'd say brick and mortar retailers in France, for instance, they've all invested into click and mortar, so they all have delivery services. Besides this, we've seen almost 7, I'd say, startups, entering into the market of delivering, any kind of food, whether it's fresh, ambient, or frozen. And this is, yeah, I think they really have, a growth that's impressive. I mean, the numbers are crazy. So I'm sure that this is going to be one of the biggest change that we inherited from the COVID-19, and now it's not only some sort of a fashion. It's really yeah, it's really hard right now. So I think retailers, they're faced with it. They've already made the changes. If you take one of the retailers that we have in France, which is called Leclerc, so it's one of the main retailer. They had a plan to have a e-retail activity, and they've reached in 2021 the numbers that they expected by 2025. So they've gained something like 4 years. So yeah, I think it's not anymore a trend. It's basically it's reality. So how do we face with it? It's, well, we're just contacted by them, and they want to have a new product because they have to enter into the market with a new offer, and HPP is definitely something they are looking into, because that's a way they can position themselves in a different way.
And I was struck by your comment or your bullet early on that the HPP market in France is very small.
Yeah.
Smaller, I think you said, than even other countries in the EU. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think, well, from our point of view, one of the reasons is based on the capacity. So there were not, capacities were not sufficient to cover the whole market. And the other thing is that if you want to start HPP, you need to educate, retailers. So that's what we've been doing for almost more than a year and a half now. So trying to educate them to what's the difference between flash pasteurized HPP. And yeah, I mean, once they've tried it, they see the interest. I mean, last week I was at one of the biggest fairs in Europe for the food service, which is basically in France, and we were presenting our products to a couple of actors of the food service, and they didn't even knew that HPP was existing. So when they realized it, they were like, okay, we want to have this one, we want to have this product. I mean, it's totally something we want to step into. So yeah, I think in the US, there are already a lot of players that are educating people, that are talking about HPP. In France, nobody has been talking about it for quite some time, and we were trying to do it. And I think it receives a very, very strong interest from the retailers and the food service industry.
Any other questions from the audience? All right, Tom, we thank you very much for joining us remotely. And as with the other presenters that we've had to bring in remotely, we look forward to having you join us in person at our next event.
I hope so. And yeah, let's stay in touch. If you have any question, you can drop me an email or give me a phone call. I'll be more than happy to answer. And yeah, just a quick word to close. So thank you so much, Tom, for this opportunity to introduce Hermes Boissons and the bulk 525. And thank you also because we became a member of the Cold Press Council in 2021. And I think you're doing a great job in the US, and we want to keep pursuing what you've done, maybe in France and in Europe. So yeah,
we like that. Thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation today. Thank you.